This narrative is about hypocrisy, a tenet that props up an insidious part of society. It props up the old Jew beta, as well as the relatively new Steve Jobs beta. This narrative is a crude analogy on how they are related. The typical anti-Semite is simply a Jew beta. He is born and bred in a part of the world that hates Jews, for which he makes no apologies. He refuses to subscribe to any form of Jewish development for his sustenance. His honesty in this regard is his only redeeming point. He justifies his hatred and blind violence on the infamous real estate issue, despite being told that his game is up. Only the disingenuous would claim that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not a cover-up for a brand of doctrinal hatred that evolved into a Semitic anomaly, too blatant to ignore. Then, you face the accomplished one. He is best described as the insidious hypocrite who stands behind the Jew beta. The latter, however, is hard to spot. As he stands in the background, the shameless hypocrite subscribes to a plethora of Jewish sciences for his survival. Well, if he was not a hypocrite, he would not allow issues that relate to his privates to be cured by salvarsan, because it was developed by a Jew. He might want to refuse a diagnosis even, because the way sermon technique was developed by a Jew. Perhaps he will have to refuse the polio inoculation for his child, because the vaccine was developed by a Jew. Not to mention that he may have to decline using stent technology for his heart problems, the magnetic resonance imager, and chemotherapy for his cancer, because they were all developed by Jews. And in regard to his digital platform, the ubiquitous Intel microprocessor, the operating system of his computer, the cell phone, the internet, and the various social media the hypocrite indulges in, were developed by Jews. The list, my friends, is exhaustive, but you see my point. Returning to the title of the narrative, the relatively new Steve Jobs beta provides an uncanny resemblance to the old Jew beta. The bald-faced one simply hates the man. He hates Apple products. Although he survives on a plethora of Apple innovations, such as the mouse and the graphical user interface, his hypocrisy ends there. He will not be found with an Apple product for which he makes no apologies. He avoids the brand like the plague. Period. Then, we have the accomplished one. The insidious hypocrite stands behind his bald-faced friend, but unlike his counterpart, the Steve Jobs beta is dragged into the world of Apple, kicking and screaming. On one hand, he embraces Apple products because it is the best out there, but on the other, he vehemently condemns them at every opportunity. On one hand, his hypocrisy is displayed by a subtle difference between his inner self and his outward appearance, but on the other hand, when a distinct fissure is apparent between his actions and what comes out of his mouth, he becomes a walking, breathing lesson in eating crow. Apple is a creator of simplified consumption modules, using products that engage basic emotions. An expert on emotional design said, "Products designed to engage emotions are likely to alienate those who do not share them." The Steve Jobs beta is an excellent example. He does not understand that it is not a hard press of the home button that switches on the phone, but a gentle nudge on the chin that wakes up the baby in the cot. It is not a rough swipe that turns the web page, but a gentle caress across the chest that makes the baby giggle. Products that engage emotions are likely to alienate those who do not share them. Period. This narrative was published by Tommy Peters in October 2011. Thank you for listening.